Hey everybody, welcome back to Jeff Bowles Central, doing another Modern Classics question mark segment for you, in which we investigate if a relatively new game, this is a pretty new game, it's only a few months old, is a modern classic or not a modern classic. And this edition, we're looking at Control, which, I don't know if you follow, Game of the Year type award things, even the actual game awards. It's been on all sorts of Game of the Year lists. I think IGN did name it Game of the Year, and I didn't play it when it came out. I don't know why. I pretty much pick up anything big on my radar, and it was on my radar, so I just snagged it in a little bit of a holiday sale. And you know what? This is one hell of a game. Like it's a ride, man. It's like even if the mechanics of the actual gameplay weren't that great, and they pretty much are across the board. I say pretty much, not entirely so. Like for instance, the first thing that I noticed when I booted it up and started playing, there's not a whole lot going on in the early goings on of the game, except for a fucking weird story from the very beginning, an intense story. The character controls a little floaty for me. Watching her run around here, whip around these halls and stuff, it's a little hard. I'm playing on a gamepad, right? I'm not playing on a PC, so I'm sure it's different on PC because everything's better on PC. Bing, 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 bing. That's my phone. Everything's better on PC, I'm sure of it. But on a gamepad, it was a little floaty. But regardless, this story, for those who are not initiated, is out of control. It's great. It's like David Lynch, Twin Peaks. It's like just like 12 Monkeys. It's cool. And it's paranormal and it's supernatural, those are stuff that I like, and it's also really, really confusing. But again, that's part of its charm. More or less, the story is a horror story, I guess you could call it, and your haunted mansion is this bureau, and the layout of the place and the fact that you've got to take zones and make them normal again, it's just kind of astounding. It's kind of mind-boggling. A lot of the effects in the game are very, very cool. They mix a lot of live action footage in with the game, which is not something that I've ever really seen, not to this capacity. We years and years ago, it seems, in video games, we got away from live action anything. So this is, it's just across the board one of the coolest game stories I've played in a really long time. Now, as far as the actual gameplay goes, it's basic gunplay mixed with all these cool force type powers attached to these relics. Some of which are hilarious, just like an old telephone or something can be one of these relics to the astral side, right? So that it imbues you with one more really cool power. You can see in all this footage that the main offensive power that you use is like a force project, or like a force push, if you were in Star Wars parlance, right? And just recently that new Star Wars Jedi game came out, and I gave it a pretty good score here on JBC. But I gotta say, this is more like being a Jedi. Like it's kind of a better version of that exact thing, of being able to manipulate a force of energy and use it in all sorts of colorful, interesting ways. The actual gunplay, which is kind of the other half of that, it's good, but it's not great. It's a little boring, actually. You have like a spectral type gun, or several spectral guns that you can construct at these control points, and just point and shoot, point and shoot, point and shoot. Wait for it to recharge rather than reload. It kind of gets boring, and I don't actually think it's the mechanics itself. I think it's the enemy variety. They look different, but they don't really. They're not really different to tackle. your strategy is never really going to vary much from just shoot and then hit it with some force something or other. Shoot, you know. They're kind of bullet spongy in places, some of the enemies. But I think the thing that really, really does make this game is that atmosphere. This beautiful world. I wish it was in HDR because the colors would just be amazing. And it's that story that just keeps you guessing all the way through. It kind of like just doesn't even make sense, but you kind of don't even care just because it's so crazy. It's so engrossing. So, yeah. This game really is a stunner, and I can see why it's been so popular and why it's been rated so highly, and so many gaming outlets have talked about it being one of the best games of the year. If you have not played this game, I highly recommend it. I don't think it did as well financially as it deserved to do. This is a great game. It's made by the same studio who made the Max Payne games back in the day. How great were those games, man? Max Payne was one of the coolest gaming series of the early 2000s. I love those games. They made bullet time a thing in games, which, you know, was overused a lot in a lot of different media forms. But regardless, I mean, look at the particle effects, for God's sake. Did you see it? Look, just throw the thing at it and the paper's flying everywhere and all the particles. It's like, wow. A lot of power under the hood. So, yeah, man, I'm willing to call it. I'll do it, you know, and you know, everybody else has done it, but I'll do it too. This is a modern classic. This is a great game. It's definitely worthy of your time. I recommend most highly. Yeah. That was a good one, guys. We got that one in the can. Record time. So, is Control a modern classic? Yes, it is. There. Verdict rendered. Until next time, everybody. This is Jeff Bowles Central speaking for Jeff Bowles Central in accordance with the laws of Jeff Bowles Central, due to the Bible of Jeff Bowles Central written in the Constitution by. Hey, and do me a favor, check out God's Body on Amazon.com. It's available in paperback, it's available in Kindle. Story of the Apocalypse, kind of pseudo-religious, pseudo-political thriller. Neo-pulp, it's been called. Book of the Year, it's not been called, but you might if you try it. You never know. Just give it a look. God's Body, paper, Kindleback, Amazon.com. Tell them old Jeffy sent you.